The strangest noise woke me up at the early hours of this morning, and I did not know what it was until I got up and read the news. And once I read the news, I realized that strange noise was this roar of Philippine gun owners hitting that order button and dragging guns from halfway across the world. So, the Philippines, are they about to have better gun laws than us in the U.S.? Well, there's an argument that can be made for that.
The Philippine National Police now allowing civilians to own semi-automatic rifles. Police spokesperson Jean Fajardo says the PNP made minor amendments to the Comprehensive Law on Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. The PNP has already forwarded the amendments to the University of the Philippines Law Center for publication. The revisions will be effective 15 days after publication.
Triple, particularly yung 7.62 pababa po at yung ang kanilang mga baril po ay meron pong classification po ng semi-automatic ay po pwede na po ito.
So I can just hear you saying, well, whoop-de-doo, semi-auto's up to 308. Well, I'm about to have a pretty good argument as to why they're going to have better gun laws than us. So now they can get a license for a semi-auto up to 308. And I know this is kind of a big deal because in my professional capacity, I've emailed with lots of people from the Philippines, and they'll say, I need this for this certain rifle, or I need this for this certain thing because I can't find it. It's not available. Our gun laws, this and that and the other thing. Certain things have just been restricted for them to be able to get into it, right? So the fact that they can have a semi-automatic up to 30 cal is kind of a big deal. But now what is a bigger deal? Where does this come in? Where they have more gun rights than us? Well, quite frankly, they don't have the NFA. The NFA is the National Firearms Act. It is an archaic law that needs to be sunset. It can be sunset just off of the initial price of the tax stamp. The price of the tax stamp was a $200 tax stamp, and back when the NFA was enacted, that was the equivalent of something like $10,400, and it was just meant to be cost prohibitive and keep these things out of people's hands. It meant to be cost prohibitive, and the ATF actually said the silent part out loud. So yes, the NFA needs to be done away. But now, since Taiwan, since their gun laws have been pretty archaic, they don't have an NFA. They don't have barrel length restrictions. They don't have restrictions on suppressors. Just like many parts of Europe, you can buy a suppressor across a hardware store counter. Here in America, the guns flow, but the silencers don't. You know, recently I had to file for a tax stamp. It was just right there before the e-forms went down. And, you know, yeah, e-forms went down for 3 days, and I didn't have to jump up and make one of those, oh, the sky is falling videos like somebody else. But yes, what I'm getting at is I had to pay this archaic $200. And since recent inflation, my $200 is worth less than it ever was. So now, why would a country that had been previously restrictive on firearms open up the floodgates and allow its citizens to be armed?
It is sacred. We will not compromise it in any way. We are a sovereign nation.
Well, I'm not an expert on the politics of the South China Ocean, or well, maybe the South Chinese Ocean. I'm telling you, I'm not an expert, but I have seen little snippets in the newspapers and stuff like that of aggression from China. You know, there was a few little things that I've seen where Chinese boats were spraying down just the Philippine fishermen and the boats that try to supply the fishermen with fuel. They'll sit there and try to run water jets on them and stuff like that, trying to keep them from being able to do their day-to-day thing. So I'm sure that part of the Philippines, their ideology is that they want a bit of an armed citizenry to repel an invasion. Doesn't this just prove that an armed citizenry is essential to a sovereign and free state? Take note, Democrats. So now I can just see old Palmetto State Armory changing their name to Philippine State Armory and just shoving a bunch of SBR uppers and lowers and stuff halfway across the world and just glittering them out upon the citizens. Would you say that the Philippines are a little bit better off than the U.S. because they don't have the NFA? Would you say they're a little bit better off because they don't have barrel length restrictions? How about the fact that they don't have suppressor restrictions, no $200 tax stamp? Would you say that they're a little bit worse off? Because it requires a license. Having that semi-auto under 30 cal would require a license, and a license is effectively a registry. In case of confiscation, what would you need? A registry. That would be the only problem that I'm seeing there. So make sure you let us know in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up and please consider subscribing. I'm barreling headlong into 100K. I absolutely want to see 100K this month, March 2024. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next video. I love you.